The man is communicating with his wife, but the next second, blood gushed out of his body. This scared his wife to death. What on earth is going on here? That day, Mary came home from work. Tomorrow is a day off, so she planned to have some intimate time with her husband. When they were about to fall asleep after they were done, the half-open bedroom door was suddenly opened. A black figure loomed. The husband sensed something was wrong. In the dim light, a black figure stood at the door. He looked closely and saw it was the neighbor's girl. Her face was covered in blood. The husband hurriedly got up and asked with concern, "What happened?" Immediately after that, the girl bit down on his neck. Mary quickly picked up the girl and threw her out. However, the husband was exhausted and collapsed on the bed. After being thrown out, the girl jumped up from the ground and rushed towards the bedroom. Mary locked the bedroom door tightly. She turned around to check on her husband's condition. He was already dying. Her husband had been bitten in the carotid artery, and blood kept gushing out. The sounds of the girl pounding kept coming from the door. Mary could only bandage her husband briefly. Then she turned around, picked up the phone, and called the emergency center. But after making several calls, there was always the sound of no answer on the other end. However, at this moment, her husband, who had lost consciousness, actually regained consciousness and stood up. Mary turned around and saw her husband rush straight at her. Mary quickly pushed him away, grabbed the keys, and hid in the bathroom. Mary lost her balance and fell into the bathtub. She planned to jump out through the window. At this moment, outside the door, the pounding from her husband suddenly stopped. She carefully pressed her ear against the door. The next second, the door was smashed open. Mary had to quickly open the window, jump out, and then plan to escape by car. When she was about to leave, she saw her neighbor holding a pistol. Mary stopped him, wanting to ask what had happened. But the neighbor told her to put her hands up, otherwise he would shoot her. Before he finished speaking, the neighbor was knocked flying by a sudden ambulance. Mary only then looked around. The originally peaceful town had actually turned into such a terrible state. A tearing sound came from behind. It was her husband chasing after her. Mary immediately started the car. When she reached the main road, she only found there were many zombies on the road. On the car radio, the situation in various places was being reported. Finally, she drove out of the dangerous area and wanted to stop to take a break, but was robbed by a strong man. The strong man tried to pull her out of the car. Mary panicked immediately. Just after she pushed the strong man away, the car directly hit the fence, and both the car and she fell off the bridge. Mary passed out immediately, not knowing how much time had passed. When Mary finally regained consciousness and climbed out of the car, a gun was pressed against her forehead. Looking up, she saw it was a policeman. The policeman was named Wade. He asked Mary to say something before confirming that she wasn't a zombie. After that, Wade took Mary with him and they moved forward. After walking for a while, they encountered another group of survivors. Among them, the pregnant Helen and Andre were husband and wife. There was also a blonde guy named Jack. Wade planned to keep going forward. Jack told the two that the area ahead was extremely dangerous. They had better not go there. Wade asked, "What about Fort Pasteur, which is relatively safe?" Jack said, "It's safe if you can fly there, but now the roads are full of zombies. They originally had 8 people, but now only 3 were left. Now they were going to take shelter in a department store. There were more supplies there." Wade and Mary exchanged a glance and then followed them. The group arrived at the entrance of the department store. Just as they were about to open the door, a one-armed zombie rushed towards them. Andre quickly shot and knocked it down. Then he shot and smashed the door lock. The 5 of them quickly hid in the department store and locked the door. It was extremely quiet inside, but the group still had lingering fears, afraid that there might be zombies hiding in some corner. The group walked quietly on tiptoe inside the department store. Jack suggested that they must ensure that every corner here is safe, so Andre and he split up to check if the doors in various places were locked. Wade, who was a policeman, stayed where he was to protect Helen and Mary. Andre first went to the side door of the department store. As he moved forward slowly, a zombie suddenly rushed over and hit the glass. Fortunately, the glass door was anti-collision. Jack wasn't so lucky. He went to a store selling sporting goods. In the store, he saw a fallen mop. Jack felt that the atmosphere here was a bit strange. He heard a noise coming from the fitting cabinet. He picked up a hammer nearby, planning to check it out. Jack mustered up the courage to open the door, and the scene inside was really bloody. Jack was completely scared stiff. When the zombie saw him, it pressed Jack to the ground at the fastest speed, planning to have a good meal. In a panic, Jack picked up a fallen wooden stick nearby and stabbed it into the zombie's head. Even the brain matter was poked out. It wasn't peaceful on Mary's side either. After hearing the sound of fighting, they felt a chill down their spines. Just as they were checking the surrounding environment, a zombie that came out of nowhere grabbed Helen. Afraid of accidentally hurting Helen, Wade had to step forward and hit the zombie away with the butt of his gun. But the zombie was very powerful and dragged him into the department store's pool. While they were fighting, Mary picked up a nearby gun and shot the Zombie dead directly. Several people realized that the first floor was no longer safe, so they decided to check the second floor. Unexpectedly, as soon as the elevator door opened, 3 security guards pointed guns at them. The leader, named Charles, threatened to make them get out of here. Jack said the downstairs was already surrounded by zombies. Now isn't the time to argue. However, Charles believed that it was definitely because of them that the zombies were attracted. After some argument, Charles made them hand over their weapons, before agreeing to let them get out of the elevator. At this moment, the shopping mall's TV was broadcasting the tragedy of this place. Andre took Helen to the restroom. It turned out that just now, Helen's hand was bitten by a zombie, but Andre was worried that if the others found out, they would hurt his wife, so he chose to hide this matter. Mary found the wound on Wade's arm. To ensure his safety, she asked Charles for a first aid kit to bandage him. After a short rest, the men went to the first floor and killed all the zombies there. Later, several people went to the top floor and wrote a distress signal on the ground with paint, and they packed up the zombies' bodies and threw them out. They saw a steady stream of zombies coming towards the shopping mall. Perhaps relying on their memories from when they were alive, they all gathered towards the places that used to be crowded. The sound of gunfire from not far away attracted several people. It turned out to be a survivor named Andy. He was alone on the rooftop, communicating with them using playing cards. Andy pointed upwards with his finger, looking in that direction. There was actually a helicopter. Several people saw the hope of survival. They waved and shouted towards the plane, trying to make it notice them, but it backfired. The plane flew directly over their heads. The hope that had just been ignited was shattered again. However, one reassuring thing is that the glass here is hard enough, and they are in a shopping mall, where the living supplies inside can let them live for a few days. Unexpectedly, Charles still didn't trust the 5 of them. He even locked them up at night, but internal strife broke out at the time when unity was most needed. Jack just expressed his opinion, but Andre couldn't stand it and told him to stop talking nonsense. He also asked Wade if he wanted to listen to Jack's advice, but Wade said he just wanted to go to Pasteburg to see his brother. Charles outside the door was very angry while watching the news report. The TV station invited a priest to study why zombies appeared. The priest believed that zombies were demons from hell returning to the world. It was almost like saying nothing. In the daytime, the young policeman saw a large truck coming this way. From the surveillance camera, several people went to the rooftop and found out that there were still a few living people in the truck. Mary wanted to save them, but she was refused by Charles, because they couldn't ensure whether the people in that truck were safe and healthy. Not letting them in was their best choice. After all, the existing supplies were also limited. However, Mary insisted on saving them. Charles was so angry that he pointed a gun at Mary and shouted, "It's ridiculous to want to save others when you can't even protect yourself now." This action aroused everyone's dissatisfaction. Jack and Wade grabbed Charles and locked him in the guardroom. Then several people joined forces to fight the zombies outside. He brought the people in the truck into the shopping mall. Charles's guess was correct. 2 of the people they took in had been bitten by zombies. It's just that the virus hadn't broken out yet. They said they came to the downtown church, and the TV station said it was a safe place, but now it has also fallen. Wade still wanted to borrow their car to find his people, but unexpectedly, he couldn't go now. On this side, Mary had just finished checking the fat woman's wound, when the next second, she mutated and rushed straight at Mary. Fortunately, at the critical moment, Mary picked up a steel pipe and stabbed it into the fat woman's eye. This time, she was completely dead. Because of this, the other infected man, several people also planned to get rid of him. The man was reluctant to part with his daughter. Wade felt pity, and only shot him when the man was about to mutate. In the following days, several survivors lived a comfortable life here. Wade even played chess across the distance with Andy from the opposite building. Except for food, which was distributed on demand, the clothes and shoes in the mall could be used freely. Even though there were zombies gathering downstairs, they were not afraid, and even played games of shooting zombies. Andy next door was a sharpshooter, who could accurately hit the zombies designated by everyone. As time went by, Andre's wife was about to give birth, and he quietly helped her deliver the baby in a room. Noticed that the woman's expression had mutated, and the fetus in her belly was about to burst through her stomach. This scene was seen by a passing aunt. Andre, afraid that the matter would be exposed, took out a pistol, and the two began to kill each other. After hearing the noise, Mary and the others came over. The aunt was only barely alive. She told them what had happened and then died. Immediately after, Mary saw that the woman's child was a zombie baby, and he couldn't live. Then gunshots rang out again in the shopping mall. After several people had indulgently enjoyed a short period of comfort, the real problem came, because the shopping mall had suddenly lost power just now. Charles and others went to the basement to check the generator, and accidentally found a dog. They thought there were no zombies, so they dared to move forward. However, their judgment was wrong. There was a zombie ahead. It turned out that zombies were not interested in the dog. After several people killed the zombies in the basement, they came to the first floor of the mall to discuss what to do next. After discussion, several people decided to live on an island and convert the truck into a hard armored vehicle using existing materials. Wade planned to take Andy with them, but Andy told him that he couldn't hold on anymore. because he had no food. Later, several people decided to let the dog deliver dry food. Although zombies were not interested in the dog, they followed when they saw the dog enter the hole. Finally, Andy was infected by zombies when facing a group of them. But at such a critical moment, Nicole and the crowd left the others and went alone to save the dog, which was really too risky. Having no choice, everyone thought saving people was the priority. They came to the mall's basement and groped alone the sewer pipe to open a manhole cover and reached the downstairs of the opposite building. Unfortunately, one of them made a noise when closing the manhole cover, which attracted the zombies. The group had to fight while retreating, and finally managed to hide in a room. When they entered, they found that it was actually a weapons store, which was just right to replenish ammunition. They had just thought of taking a breath. Suddenly, a violent knocking sound came from inside the house. Everyone followed the sound and found that Andy had turned into a zombie. Wade decisively took action and killed him. Then they found Nicole and the dog in the cabinet. But at this moment, a new problem emerged. How are they going to get back? Charles took out a gas canister and threw it towards the horde of zombies. At the same time, he raised his sniper rifle and took aim. With the explosion, the zombie horde was blown to pieces. Everyone quickly crawled into the sewer. One teammate, while covering everyone, was pushed down from the wellhead by zombies. Shortly after, hordes of zombies walked towards them. Charles pulled the injured teammate and retreated while fighting. But there were more and more zombies, and they could never kill them all. In the end, the teammate couldn't hold on any longer, handed his pistol to Charles, and begged for a quick end. Several people ran back to the shopping mall and got into the armored vehicle. But they hadn't driven far. Hordes of zombies surrounded them, and some even tried to climb onto the armored vehicle. It was almost impossible to move an inch. Fortunately, Charles had been prepared. He climbed onto the roof and threw gas canisters towards the zombie horde. Another loud explosion. A bloody path was blown open ahead. The armored vehicle rushed out and sped towards the destination. While driving, Wade noticed through the rearview mirror a zombie hanging behind the car. The old man wanted to finish him off with a chainsaw, but no one expected the car to suddenly make a sharp turn. Inertia threw the chainsaw onto Nicole, killing her instantly. Now the armored vehicle was also out of control. Charles saw that the armored vehicle hadn't kept up and turned around. As soon as someone climbed out of the overturned armored vehicle, they were tackled by the chasing zombies. By the time Charles and the others arrived, only Wade was still alive. Several people were about to retreat when they found their companion had also turned into a zombie. Mary didn't even blink, raised her hand, and shot him dead. They were just about to leave when the zombie horde caught up again. The others quickly got into the car. Mary followed right after. The car continued towards the dock. The zombies chased relentlessly behind. Fortunately, they finally arrived at the dock safely without any danger. The group hurried out of the car and ran towards the boat. At this point, the zombie horde was already within reach. Charles told everyone to get on the boat first while he stayed to cover them. In no time, the zombie horde surrounded the car. The zombies all poured into the car. Charles fought desperately inside. The bullets ran out. In the end, he picked up a flare. With a violent explosion, Charles used his own life to buy time for the others to escape. Coming to their senses, several people quickly boarded the yacht, but Jack was unfortunately bitten by a zombie while escaping. He knew he was beyond saving, so he chose to stay. After watching everyone leave, Jack ended his own life with a gun. The remaining people drove the yacht towards the island, ready to start a new journey of survival. The movie ends here. This is a remake of the 1978 classic zombie film of the same name. This film not only continues the horror charm of the zombie genre, but also, with its sharp rhythm, bloody visual impact, and profound exploration of human nature, has become a landmark zombie film of the 21st century. What sets it apart from the original is that the director of this film uses fast zombies. They run, bite, and charge at the survivors' defenses in hordes, greatly increasing the tension of the film. This setting not only enhances the excitement of the action scenes, but also metaphorizes how quickly panic spreads in modern society. Disasters often get out of control before people are aware of them. Director Snyder's debut work showcases his signature quick cuts and highly saturated colors, making the action scenes highly impactful. From the opening family tragedy to the mid-film mall battle, to the bloody breakout in the underground passage, the film has almost no dull moments. What's particularly worth mentioning is that the film doesn't indulge in mindless killing, but instead uses black humor to ease the tension, making the characters more realistic. The ending of the film is highly controversial. Survivors flee by boat to an island, only to find it has long been overrun by zombies. This setting breaks the triumphant escape cliché of traditional zombie films, implying the insolubility of the apocalypse. Human beings may never truly escape disasters, but can only keep struggling to survive. Dawn of the Dead is by no means a mere sensory stimulation film. Beneath its bloody surface, it explores social collapse, human choices, and survival instincts. Whether it's the innovation in zombie settings, or the ensemble drama in a confined space, all make it stand out among films of the same genre. Even after nearly 20 years, it remains a must-see classic for zombie film enthusiasts.